A little boy was going to school when he stood up for a poor woman who was trying to enter a grocery store. Now, the security guard humiliated her. Nobody knew who she really was until the next day. On a gray and cloudy morning, a Mercedes arrived at the boy's school. Arthur and his father Robert were walking to the grocery store, enjoying the fresh air, which made the busy big city feel quieter. As they talked, Robert paid close attention to his son, giving him important instructions. Now, Robert couldn't take Arthur to school that day because he had a job interview. "Remember what I taught you, okay, son? I won't be able to take you to school today because of the job interview. So make sure you get off at the bus stop near the school that I showed you. Now be careful because we live in a big city and you don't want to get lost," Robert said, with a mix of concern and trust. Now that little boy, only 9 years old and with a spark of independence in his eyes, reassured his father that he could handle it. "I'm not now, Dad. I'm a grown-up," he said, smiling, even though he felt a little bit nervous about his first trip alone. Robert, smiling with pride and eyes slightly teary, gently patted his son's head. Now, it was a moment of growing up, a small goodbye to his childhood. "That's right, big guy," Robert said, trying to keep his voice steady. As they approached the grocery store, the automatic doors opened and closed like a big mouth swallowing and letting out people. "Now we're here," Robert said, guiding his son through the entrance. They hugged tightly and promised to meet again later that day. Inside the grocery store, Arthur quickly settled into the routine that he and his father had practiced a lot of times before. He grabbed a basket and started walking through the aisles, his eyes full of curiosity as he focused on the list that his dad had given him. The store was a small version of the city, busy with activity and filled with people from all walks of life. As Arthur moved through the aisles, he had no idea of the surprises that awaited him that day, events that would shape his character and change his life. He was unaware that his kindness would soon be tested. At one point, he noticed a security guard stopping a woman from entering the store. Now, she carried an old, worn-out bag and looked anxious, her eyes darting around as if searching for something or someone. Her expression showed deep fear and concern, which anybody could sense just by looking at her. Now, she seemed out of place, surrounded by an invisible cloud of despair. When it was her turn to enter the grocery store, she was stopped because she hadn't paid the store's entrance fee. Now, with a trembling voice, she quietly told the guard that she didn't have the money. Now, her voice shook, revealing just how stunned and embarrassed she felt. Now, the guard, clearly in a foul mood, erupted with anger, and his words was harsh and unforgiving. "What do you mean you have no money? Then what are you doing here? Get out, lady! Get out of my store!" he shouted. Now, his voice was loud, and the cruelty of his words echoed through the store, drawing the attention of shoppers who glanced over with a mix of curiosity and discomfort. The woman, visibly humiliated, started to plead with the guard, trying to explain her desperate need for groceries. Now, she promised with genuine and painful sincerity that she would return to pay. "Sir, I promise I'll come back to pay you," she begged. But the guard showed no mercy. He continued to accuse and judge her, making her feel even more humiliated. "You think I'm gonna let someone like you shop here for free and believe you'll come back and pay? I know your type. You're all liars," he shouted loudly. The tears began to stream down the woman's face, showing her deep despair. Now, the situation grew worse, and it seemed like the guard was about to use force to remove her from the store. Now, he was already moving to grab her by the arm. Now, Arthur, who'd been watching the scene with growing discomfort and anger, couldn't stay silent any longer. Seeing that nobody was stepping in to help, he decided to act. With determination in his eye, he stood up, though he was small in size. His hand shook as he took out his lunch money, the money his father had worked hard to give him. Now, he'd been looking forward to finally buying the pizza at school he's always wanted, but couldn't often afford. But without hesitation, he gave up his own once for an act of kindness. With determined steps, Arthur approached the guard and held out his hand with the money. "Here it is, sir. Now she can go into the store," he said, his voice firm and unwavering, surprising for somebody so young. He gave the guard a look of disgust before turning back to his shopping. Now, as he continued through the aisles, he felt a powerful mix of emotions: anger at the cruel way the guard had treated the woman, and pride in himself for doing the right thing. Now, his little heart pounded, not because he'd given up his lunch money, but because of the gravity of what he had just done. It was a small act that would shape not just his day, but who he was going to grow up to be. a young man with a strong sense of justice. The store resumed its usual bustle, but now carried with it a story of courage and humility on an otherwise gray morning. After Arthur's brave act, the customers were left in stunned silence, each processing what they had just witnessed. The guard, too, stood speechless, still in shock at the boy's boldness. The people exchanged glances, murmuring about the kid's remarkable behavior. Now, meanwhile, the woman, now able to continue her shopping, sought out her young savior. Though her eyes still glistened with the remnants of tears, they now held a new light, a mix of relief and deep gratitude. "I can't thank you enough, little buddy," she said, her voice still trembling. Arthur, showing a maturity beyond his years, reached into his backpack and pulled out a handkerchief, offering it to her to dry her tears. "It's okay. Nobody should be treated like that," he replied simply. He then shared a story of his own, recalling a day when his dad, Robert, was 10 cents short of the store. How they were scolded and humiliated by a heartless employee and forced to leave without buying anything. As Arthur spoke, the woman listened intently, her expression shifting between shock and sadness. Now, she insisted that she would find a way to repay his kindness. Now, while they talked, the world outside continued at its usual pace. The store was alive with activity, people shopping, chatting, and going about their day, unaware of the small but significant act of kindness that had just taken place. The conversation between Arthur and the woman was brief, but it carried deep meaning. Now, Arthur told her his name, and she responded with a gentle smile. Now, soon it was time for Arthur to head to school. Now, as he walked out of the store, the woman watched him through the window, following his journey until he disappeared from view. Her heart remained warmed by the boy's selfless gesture. Arthur, unaware of the lasting impact of his actions, walked on, while the woman lingered in the store, her eyes fixed on the spot where he had vanished, filled with gratitude and a renewed sense of hope. Nobody there could have guessed who she really was. She wasn't just someone in trouble, a poor homeless woman or a scammer like the guard had thought. Her true identity would shock everybody, especially the guard and Arthur, with what was about to happen. Now, as the store continued its day, each customer left with a small piece of this story, not knowing how extraordinary it would soon become. Arthur spent the day at school with an empty stomach, thinking about the pizza that he wanted to buy. Despite being hungry, he didn't regret his choice because he knew it was the right thing to do. When he got home, he told his dad the story about the store. Now, Robert listened closely, his eyes filled with a mix of pride and emotion. "Your mama will be really proud of you," Robert said softly, his voice carrying both warmth and sadness. Now, he hugged his son tightly and then took out his wallet, handing Arthur $10. "Hey, here you go, son. Use this to buy that slice of pizza tomorrow. And there'll still be some money left over for the other days," he said. Now, Arthur jumped for joy and hugged his dad, grateful for the gift. Robert smiled and added, "You see, buddy, good deeds always bring rewards." Now, he tried to sound light and hopeful, even though he knew money was tight. But neither of them knew how big the reward yet to come was going to be. So the next day, Robert took Arthur to school. Sadly, he had just learned that he didn't get the job as a delivery man because they said he was too old, even though he was only 37. Now, this news made him feel sad and worried about how he would take care of his son, especially after losing his wife. Robert felt overwhelmed with despair. His son had only been 3 years old when his mama passed away. Now, the next 6 years were full of struggle and uncertainties, with Robert doing odd jobs and giving up his college degree in automation engineering to focus on raising Arthur. Now, that morning, after dropping Arthur off at school, Robert went to speak with the principal about his son's financial situation. Now, Arthur had a scholarship at a private school, but it was about to end. Without a new scholarship or a steady job, Robert was worried that he wouldn't be able to keep his son in school. While Arthur was getting settled in his classroom and Robert was trying to figure out the money issues, a sleek Mercedes pulled up in front of the school. The gates opened up and a calm, composed figure stepped out of the car. Now, it was the same woman from the grocery store the day before, but now stepping out of the luxury car, she looked completely different. Her elegant appearance and stylish clothes caught everybody's eye at the school, a stark contrast to the worn-out image that she had shown in the store. She approached the reception desk with a presence that balanced authority and kindness, drawing the attention of everybody around. When she asked about Arthur and where he lived, there was a sense of urgency in her voice, a deep need to connect with a boy who had shown her unexpected kindness. The school staff, protective of their students, was naturally cautious since they didn't know why a stranger was asking about him. But it happened that Robert was already there discussing financial matters, which made the situation easier. The receptionist, sensing the importance of her request, said, "Arthur's father's here right now. Would you like to speak with him? We can't give out any private information about our students otherwise." "Yes, please call his father. I'll wait," the woman requested with the grace of royalty. A few minutes later, Robert was brought to her, his face showing a mix of concern and curiosity. When he saw her, his mind raced in disbelief. She was stunning with the beauty that seemed to light up the room. "Mr. Robert," the receptionist said, "this woman mentioned that your son helped her in the store yesterday and would like to speak with you." Now, Robert's heart began to race, not only from surprise, but also because he recalled Arthur's story about helping a poor woman in the store. Now, it just didn't add up. He'd imagined a homeless woman, not the radiant figure standing before him. Now, the woman then introduced herself. "Hello, Robert. My name is Sophia," she began, sharing the story of her encounter with Arthur and expressing her deep gratitude and admiration for him. Now, her words were like music to Robert's ears, each one filling him with pride as he listened. "Your son was a true gentleman, offering me a handkerchief and even paying my entrance fee. Such a young boy with such a big heart," she said, her voice full of emotion. They left the reception area and moved to the school garden, where they could talk a little bit more comfortably in the peaceful surroundings. As they walked, Sophia opened up about her desire to help Arthur. Now, she spoke about the value of education and how deeply she was touched by the situation of Robert and his son, especially after the receptionist had told her more about him while she was waiting for him to arrive. The conversation flowed naturally, as if they were meant to meet and discuss their shared concern for Arthur's future. "It's rare to find such kindness and courage these days. Your son is truly special, and you're an amazing father for raising him this way," Sophia said, looking directly into his eyes. Then she made an offer that would change their lives forever. "I want to pay for your son's education. It's the least I can do to repay the great kindness that he showed me." Now, Robert was stunned, unable to fully grasp the generosity and the profound impact that it would have on both his and Arthur's future. Overwhelmed by surprise, he tried to decline the offer. "Nah, I can't accept that. It's too much," he said. But Sophia was firm, her determination clear in every word. "Please, Robert, I insist. You both deserve this." Now, overcome with emotion and gratitude, Robert finally gave in. Tears streamed down his face as he fell to his knees on the garden lawn. Thank you so much," he murmured repeatedly, each word a mix of relief and joy. There, in the middle of the garden, surrounded by flowers and under the open sky, a simple act of kindness had sparked a wave of generosity and hope that would change their lives forever. They sat together on a bench under the shade of a tree, the peaceful atmosphere of the school wrapping them in a calm embrace. Now, Sophia began to share her story, and each word revealed a reality that seemed more extraordinary than any fiction. Sophia Rohr was the daughter of a luxury car magnate, August Rohr. At a previous morning, just before dawn, she'd been the victim of an attempted kidnapping. She described how, through a mix of luck and determination, she managed to escape from the car. As she ran desperately through the city, far from where she'd been taken, still terrified of being found. With the city waking up around her, she boarded the first bus she saw without any money or belongings. Now, the fear and anguish in her voice was clear as she recounted the terror of that moment. Now, Robert listened intently, each word helping him understand more about the woman before him. When Arthur had helped her, she memorized the location of the school, determined to find a way to repay his kindness. After escaping the vehicle with the help of a kind passerby, she managed to call her father, who quickly came to her rescue. Now, the kidnappers were later caught thanks to the city's security cameras, and now she was safe. Now, the story left Robert both perplexed and amazed. Now, fate had woven a complex and unexpected connection between his son's life and his woman's, bringing them together in a profound way. As they talked, Arthur came out to the playground and spotted his dad with Sophia. Now, his face lit up with surprise and joy when he recognized her. "Hey, you're the lady from the store," he exclaimed after hearing the entire story. Now, Arthur was just in shock. He couldn't believe that a small act of kindness had played a role in saving her. Sophia then invited them both to a restaurant, promising Arthur the pizza that he'd been longing for. Now Arthur jumped for joy and she laughed, delighted by his innocence and happiness. After that first meeting, a genuine friendship gradually blossomed between them. Sophia visited Robert and Arthur often, bringing warmth and a newfound sense of family into their lives. When Sophia learned that Robert had put his studies on hold, she spoke to her dad, who offered Robert the chance to complete his education and work as an engineer at their luxury car company. Now, this opportunity transformed their lives in ways that they had never imagined. What began as a simple act of kindness in a store led to a complete and profound change in their lives. As the months passed, Robert and Sophia fell in love, and Arthur finally had the mom that he'd always wished for. They became a family, united not only by love, but also by the understanding that kindness and compassion can have far-reaching effects. Now, their story became a testament to how a simple act of kindness can create ripples of change, touching hearts and transforming lives. And so, thanks to the generous heart of a little boy in a store, a family's life took a beautiful turn, blossoming into happiness and love. Arthur's school quickly became the talk of the town after the incident. The story of the boy who helped a poor woman at the grocery store and then received a visit from a luxurious Mercedes spread rapidly. The next morning, the school was buzzing with excitement and curiosity. Now, Arthur, still trying to process everything, found himself the center of attention. As he walked through the school gates, his classmates crowded around him, asking him questions. "Arthur, is it true? Did a Mercedes really come to your house?" one friend asked, eyes wide with amazement. Now, Arthur nodded, a sly smile on his face. "Yeah, it's true. The lady I helped in the store came to visit my dad and me. Now, her name is Sophia, and she's really kind." The principal, Mr. Thomas, called Arthur into his office. "Now, Arthur, I've heard about your bravery and kindness. We're all very proud of you. Your actions show the values we cherish at this school." Now, Arthur felt a warm sense of pride. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I just did what I thought was right." Throughout the day, Arthur's story continued to inspire his classmates and teachers. During lunchtime, the cafeteria was full of excited conversations about what had happened. "Can you believe it? Arthur stood up to that mean guard," one student said. "He's a hero," another agreed. Now, Arthur enjoyed his lunch, his thoughts wandering to the amazing things happening in his life. He didn't yet realize that this was just the start of an extraordinary journey. Well, as days turned into weeks, Sophia became a regular presence in Arthur and Robert's lives. She frequently visited their small apartment, bringing with her a touch of elegance and warmth. Sophia was determined to make a positive difference in their lives, and her generosity was limitless. Now, one Sunday afternoon, she invited Robert and Arthur to her family's estate. Now, the grand mansion was a big contrast to their modest little home, but Sophia made them feel comfortable and at ease. "Please make yourselves at home," she said with a warm smile. Now, Arthur's eyes grew wide as he took in the beauty of the estate. The lush gardens, the sparkling swimming pool, and the luxurious interiors amazed him. "This place is incredible," he exclaimed. Sophia took him to the patio, where a delicious lunch was set out. As they ate, she talked more about her life and her family's business. "My father, August, started this company from nothing. We've worked hard to build it into what it is today," she explained. Robert listened closely, his admiration for Sophia growing with every word. "Your father must be very proud of you," he said. Sophia's face softened. "He is, but I want to use our success to help others. That's why I'm so passionate about education and giving back to the community." As they continued their conversation, Robert felt a strong connection with Sophia. Her kindness and compassion reflected his own values, and he couldn't help but develop growing affection for her. Now, Arthur was also charmed by Sophia's warmth and generosity. Now, the day ended with a promise from Sophia. "We will support Arthur's education and help you finish your studies, Robert, and this is just the start of our journey together." With Sophia's support, Robert enrolled in an online engineering program. Balancing his studies with being a single father was tough, but he was determined to succeed. Sophia's encouragement and financial help made a huge difference. Now, Arthur's life also changed dramatically. He did really well in school, inspired by the new opportunities ahead of him. Now, his story continued to inspire his classmates and teachers, and he became a role model for kindness and bravery. During a school assembly one day, Mr. Thompson invited Arthur to the stage. Now, Arthur, we're proud of you and the example you set for everyone. Your actions show us that even a small act of kindness can have a big impact. The auditorium burst into applause as Arthur stood on the stage, sniffling with pride. Now, he knew his journey was just beginning and he was excited about what the future would bring. As Robert made progress in his studies, he reconnected with his passion for engineering. The knowledge and skills that he gained renewed his dreams, and he was eager to use them in a meaningful way. Sophia's father's company offered him an internship, giving him hands-on experience and valuable industry insights. Robert's hard work and dedication impressed his mentors, and soon he was offered a full-time position at the company. Now, this opportunity marked a major turning point in his life, enabling him to provide a better future for Arthur. Meanwhile, Arthur continued to excel in school. With Sophia's support, he joined extracurricular activities and followed his interests. He became a member of the school's robotics club, where he discovered a love for technology and innovation. Miss Jenkins, the club advisor, noticed Arthur's potential and encouraged him to explore his talents further. Now, Arthur, you have a natural gift for engineering. I believe you can achieve great things, Miss Jenkins said. Arthur's eyes lit up with excitement. Thank you, Miss Jenkins. I want to learn as much as I can to make a difference in the world. As Robert and Arthur's lives changed, so did their relationship with Sophia. Their bond grew stronger and Sophia became a vital part of their family. Robert and Sophia's feelings for each other deepened and they found comfort in being together. One evening while they sat at Sophia's garden, Robert took her hand and said, "Sophia, you have brought so much joy and hope into our lives. I can't imagine my life without you." And Sophia's eyes filled with tears of happiness and she replied, "Robert, you and Arthur are my family now. I love you both with all my heart." Their relationship continued to grow and they soon decided to take the next step. Robert proposed to Sophia in the same garden where they had shared many meaningful moments. "Sophia, will you marry me?" he asked, his voice full of emotion. Now, Sophia's eyes sparkled with love and joy as she answered, "Yes, Robert, I will." Their wedding was a beautiful celebration of love and unity. Now, Arthur stood by their side as they exchanged vows, feeling a deep sense of happiness and belonging. The ceremony was attended by family, friends, and colleagues, all of whom were moved by that remarkable story. With their lives changed for the better, Robert and Sophia were eager to give back to the community that had supported them. Now, they started a scholarship fund in Arthur's name to help underprivileged students achieve their dreams. The fund provided financial aid, mentorship, and educational resources to those in need. Arthur was actively involved in the scholarship fund, attending events and speaking to students about the value of kindness, education, and perseverance. His story inspired many young people to believe in themselves and aim for greatness. Education is the key to unlocking your potential. Never give up on your dreams, and always remember that one act of kindness can change the world, Arthur said at a scholarship event. Their efforts had a significant impact, helping many students reach their educational goals and creating a positive change in the community. Robert and Sophia's dedication to giving back became a key part of their family's legacy. Now, years later, Arthur graduated from high school with honors, ready to start the next phase of his life. He'd been accepted into a prestigious university to study engineering and pursue his passion for technology. As he stood on stage at his graduation ceremony, he looked out at the audience and saw his father, Sophia, and the friends and teachers who had supported him. His heart was filled with gratitude and pride. Today, I stand before you not just as a graduate, but as a symbol of the power of kindness, education, and perseverance. I am thankful for the opportunities I've had and the people who believed in me. I promise to carry on the legacy of giving back and making a difference in the world, Arthur said in his valedictory speech. Now, the audience applauded loudly, touched by Arthur's heartfelt words. Now, Robert and Sophia smiled with pride, knowing that their journey had come full circle. They had faced challenges, embraced opportunities, and built a life full of love, hope, and purpose. As Arthur got ready to leave for university, he felt both excited and nostalgic. Now, he knew his family would always be his support, and he was prepared to face the future with confidence and determination. During his time at college, Arthur excelled academically and personally. He did well in all of his studies, joined research projects, and continued to inspire others with his story. While away at college, Arthur discovered a passion for entrepreneurship. He started a company focused on creating new technologies to solve social and environmental problems. His company gained attention for its innovative work and attracted investors who shared his vision for a better world. Arthur's success as an entrepreneur allowed him to grow the scholarship fund his family had started. He used some of his company's profits to support education and empowerment initiatives, making sure that future generations would have the opportunities that they deserved. Robert and Sophia, proud of their son's achievements, supported him in every way that they could. Their love and guidance were a steady source of strength and inspiration for Arthur. Together, they traveled around the world, visiting schools, orphanages, and community centers to share their story and promote education and kindness. Their message touched people from all walks of life and inspired a global movement of compassion and generosity. As the years went by, Arthur's company continued to grow, and his influence expanded. He became a well-known figure in the tech industry, recognized not only for his innovations, but also for his strong dedication to social good. His journey from a young boy who helped a stranger in a grocery store to a successful entrepreneur and philanthropist showed the power of kindness and determination. Now, Arthur never forgot the lessons that he learned on his journey. He stayed humble, grounded, and committed to his goal of making the world a better place. His family, friends, and supporters continued to stand by him, celebrating his achievements and helping him through some really tough times. One day, Arthur stood in front of a group of young students and shared his story again. Remember, each of you has the power to make a difference. No act of kindness is too small, and no dream is too big. Believe in yourselves, work hard, and never give up. Together, we can change the world. The students listened intently, inspired by Arthur's words and his journey. They saw their own potential in him and felt encouraged like anything was possible. As Arthur looked at the eager faces in front of him, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. His journey had come full circle, and he was ready to carry on the legacy of kindness, compassion, and hope that he'd received. In the end, Arthur's story wasn't just about one single act of kindness. It was about how that act created a ripple effect, touching many lives and leaving a lasting legacy. His story was about love, strength, and the power of the human spirit. Now, the little boy who stood up for a poor woman in the grocery store grew up to be a guiding light in the world, showing that even one small act of kindness can make a big difference. As Arthur's life went on, his dedication to making a positive impact never wavered. He worked hard on various causes, using his resources and influence to tackle important social issues. His journey wasn't just about personal achievement, it was about making a real difference. Arthur's startup grew into a global company known for its creative solutions to major problems. From creating sustainable energy technologies to setting up educational programs for underprivileged communities, his company led the way in bringing about positive change. Even with all the success, Arthur never forgot the values that had shaped his life. He stayed closely connected to his roots, often returning to the grocery store where everything began. Now, that store had become a special place for him, representing the start of his remarkable journey, a place where a simple act of kindness had changed his life forever. Now, one day, during one of his visits to the store, Arthur met a young boy who reminded him of his younger self. The boy was shy but full of curiosity, and Arthur noticed a spark of potential in his eyes. Now, Arthur started a conversation with him, wanting to learn more about the boy's dreams and goals. "What's your name?" Arthur asked with a kind smile. "James," the boy replied softly, his voice just slightly louder than a whisper. "James, you know you can achieve anything you put your mind to. Never stop believing in yourself and always be kind to others," Arthur encouraged, his words filled with warmth and sincerity. James nodded, his eyes shining with admiration. "Thank you, Mr. Arthur. I want to be just like you when I grow up." Arthur felt a surge of pride and hope. He saw in James the potential for something great, as a sign that the legacy of kindness would continue to grow. As Arthur left the store, he thought about the incredible journey that he'd been on. He'd come a long way from being a little boy who stood up for a stranger, and he knew that his story wasn't finished yet. There was still a lot of lives left out there to touch, many dreams to support, and many acts of kindness to share. Arthur's love was proof of the power of compassion and how one small act of kindness can make a big difference. His journey had come full circle, and he was ready to keep making a positive impact, one kind act at a time. In the end, Arthur's story was a celebration of the human spirit and a reminder that each of us has the power to bring about positive change in the world. It was a story filled with hope, strength, and the lasting impact of kindness. As Arthur looked out at the world with a heart still full of purpose, he knew that his journey was just beginning. The future was bright, and he was ready to welcome it with open arms. Guided by the values that shaped his extraordinary life, Arthur's legacy grew stronger as the years passed. He became a mentor to countless young people, encouraging them to follow their dreams and make a difference in the world. His story spread across schools, universities, and communities around the world, becoming a symbol of hope for everybody who heard it. Arthur's company thrived, reaching more people and making a greater impact. He put his efforts into research and development, creating advanced technologies that tackled major global problems. His dedication to sustainability, education, and social justice was always at the heart of his work. One of Arthur's greatest accomplishments was founding the Kindness Academy, an institution focused on developing the next generation of leaders and change makers. The Academy offered scholarships, mentorships, and resources to students from all walks of life, empowering them to bring about positive change in their communities. The Kindness Academy quickly earned a reputation for excellence, drawing students from all corners of the globe. Arthur frequently visited the Academy, sharing his story and offering guidance to the students. Now, he saw in them the same spark of potential that had fueled his own journey toward achieving his dreams. One day, during a visit to the Academy, Arthur met a young girl named Emma. Now, Emma was passionate about protecting the environment and had a clear vision for a sustainable future. Her dedication and enthusiasm reminded Arthur of his own path, and he decided to mentor her, offering his support and guidance. Emma, your passion and drive are truly inspiring. Never lose sight of your dreams and always remember the power of kindness, Arthur told her during one of their mentoring sessions. Emma looked up at Arthur with determination in her eyes. "Thank you, Mr. Arthur. I will do my best to make a difference," she replied with resolve. Emma's journey blossomed under Arthur's guidance, leading her to spearhead several impactful environmental initiatives. Her work soon gained widespread recognition as she emerged as a role model for her peers, a living example of the powerful influence that Arthur's mentorship could have. Seeing Emma and other students at the Kindness Academy thrive filled Arthur with a profound sense of accomplishment. The Academy had evolved into something much more than a school. It had become a nurturing community of dreamers and achievers, all driven by a shared vision of creating a better world. Arthur's life, marked by transformation, was rooted in kindness, resilience, and deep commitment to making a difference. Despite his humble beginnings, his rise as a successful entrepreneur and philanthropist never led him away from the core values that had guided him from the start. His story became a powerful reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can spark significant positive change. It was a testament to the enduring impact of compassion and the incredible difference that it can make in the world. As Arthur reflected on his incredible journey, he understood that his story was still unfolding, and there was countless lives yet to be touched, many dreams still needing support, and many more acts of kindness waiting to be performed. Looking ahead, Arthur felt a deep sense of hope and was determined to continue making a difference in the world. Arthur's life was a celebration of the human spirit, a powerful reminder that each of us holds the ability to bring about positive change. His story was one of hope, resilience, and the lasting impact of kindness. With a heart filled with purpose, Arthur knew that his journey was far from over. The future was bright, and he was ready to embrace it, guided by the values that had shaped his extraordinary life. So what acts of kindness have you been the recipient of? Make sure you let me know in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.